All right, what's our intro for this one?
I don't have one. Do you?
Yeah, give me the book.
Okay. Here you go.
Are you a Puritan? Do you live in colonial Victorian America in time? Do you fear the devil and witchcraft and thump Bibles to your chests? If so, this book will horrify you to your core.
And what's the name of this book?
Slewfoot.
Good job.
That's what the book's about, too.
Yeah, it is, pretty much.
Yep.
All right, so let's, you picked this book.
I did.
So what drew you to this book, and describe the cover?
I was looking for something grungy. I walked into the bookstore and I was like, I'm looking for something grungy.
Yeah.
And I walked around looked at the covers, as you do, or as I do. I did it. And I saw this book cover. And what's funny is I saw it and I asked the proprietor of the bookstore.
Salmonberry Books?
Yes. I asked her if this is a good book. And she hesitated. But by that point, I had already made my decision. So I bought it anyway.
Okay.
Yep. The book is Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom.
And describe the cover.
It is...
Wait. Let me actually do a throwback to last episode. Because I asked you what was on the cover. And we decided to wait, but you said it's a woman on a stick.
Yep.
And I was like, a pogo stick? And you're like, no, not that kind of stick. And then we moved on because really we were going to save it for this. So
That's
when
correct.
I looked at the cover and I saw this, I laughed because I was like, this is definitely not a pogo stick.
No, it's a broomstick.
Yes.
So what I was doing there was building anticipation, right, for the next episode. Everyone is on the edge of their seat wondering what stick it is. It was a broomstick.
It's a broomstick.
For those who commented and made guesses, congrats if you were right. It's a broomstick.
All right, so it's a woman on a broomstick.
It's a woman on a broomstick. She has the moon behind her. She has a skull in her lap. She has hooves for feet. Really sort of like not happy looking face, which is interesting.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But her blouse is tubular. Right?
Is it? Or
That's
is
when
it
it's
just
just
falling
above
off her shoulders?
That's when it's like right above the boobies, right?
Yeah.
It's like halfway up the boobies is a tube top, right?
Yeah, when there's no sleeves.
Oh, this has sleeves. It's not a tube top.
Yeah, I think it's just falling off.
It's just falling off. And it's got a crown of like flowers around the goat's horns, a skull that's in her lap.
Yeah. It's a goat skull?
It's a goat skull.
Okay.
And I looked at this one because in the center of this book, there's a lot of art.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah. And
I
the
remember
illustrator
really liking that.
is the author.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Brom is the illustrator and the author.
That's awesome.
Which was super cool because I really enjoyed the artwork in this book.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
So, I read this book too.
Yep.
And I don't know where to start. I feel like if I knew that Slewfoot, like, is Slewfoot in general, like, a known term for the devil?
I had never heard the term Slewfoot until I started reading this book.
Okay, same.
Yeah. And I've read a lot of fantasy.
Yeah.
But I haven't read a lot of religious fantasy.
Right.
Like Chupacabra, right?
Right.
But I imagine if Slewfoot was as famous as the Chupacabra, I would know about it.
Right.
Right.
So, what did you like this book?
That's a hard question.
Wait. Is that the same face?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is the same hesitation that the proprietor of the bookstore gave to me. So I like the story. I felt like it was really unique. I've never really read anything like it. But I hesitate because the accolades on the back are just wrong.
Oh, what are the
Right?
accolades
A
on the
roaring,
back?
bloody, beautiful work of pure imagination. Okay, that one's good.
Okay.
Right? This clever and imaginative tale is not to be missed by fans of dark fantasy and historical horror. And it was the word horror and creepy crawly bloody fun that I kind of hesitated on because it's not horror. I thought...
you know what's funny is I thought you picked a horror book. When I was reading it, I was like, wow, Jake picked a horror book.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you a Puritan?
No.
Show me your Bible. Because that's the only way I can imagine that this book is a horror book.
Interesting.
Because otherwise, this book is a vindictive book.
Yeah.
Right?
It's revenge horror.
It's revenge. Because I don't believe that it's horror.
Okay.
Right?
How does one define a horror book?
It has to be scary.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Or does it involve things traditionally considered to be
I have
scary
to be scared.
or deviant or devilish
I have to be scared.
for it to be a horror book?
Yep. If I'm not scared, it's not a horror book.
Interesting.
And I'm not hard to scare.
Okay.
So it's definitely not thriller.
Yeah.
The pace of the book was super chill.
Yeah.
The themes of the book, I loved them. Mm-hmm. Really, really happy about the end of the book. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
No sarcasm. I actually really like the end of the book.
Yeah.
But should we get into it?
Yeah, I think we should.
Where we started the book?
Oh, man. I was also happy with the ending.
Yes.
But I think we should talk about some of the build-up first.
Okay.
Reading this book, I really, really appreciated the, just like, not the illustration, because there are actually illustrations in the book, so I don't mean like that kind of illustration, but I really appreciated the amount of time that went into making you really feel and understand their society and how just like the expectations were if you're a woman, like you're not speaking to men and you're not talking back and you're not doing all these things, and like the way that they also really brought the church into it, and that specific church, like this is not all church, this is this Puritan church in this book, right? But they just did I thought the author did a very good job of painting that picture.
The first 40 pages of this book were hard to read. Because we've moved so far from that.
Yeah.
Right? And it was kind of like a slap in the face reminder that it was not that long ago.
Wasn't.
Right?
No.
So yeah, the first 40 pages was all, hey, remember when women weren't equal?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you didn't speak to men when they were talking at the table. You were just there to serve them.
Right.
Right? And, oh, hey, if you aren't married, you're worthless. That's the first 40 pages. So
Yeah.
I think the author did that intentionally.
Oh, yeah.
To make you feel anger towards their society.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah. And they did a very good job of that.
They did do a very good job of that.
Yeah. So I appreciated that. I was also really, really struck. What was it? It was like, I don't remember what I was going to say. You go.
I was really struck by something I don't remember.
F it, I'll leave it in.
Leave it in. All right, so I would say the way that this story builds up, right? The first 40 pages is, this is what life in Puritan America is like for women.
It sucked.
It was awful. And then her goat died. She went to church. More anger at the society. Her husband died. Then she was introduced to Slewfoot.
Right.
Right, which is another name for the character, which is like a forest god or a pagan god or the devil or a demon or all these different names that they could come up with for an evil force, right?
Yeah.
And through sort of the story, these two individuals become friends.
Yeah.
Right? Slewfoot and the main character. What was her name?
Abatha.
Abatha, that's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how, like, Slewfoot and Abatha became friends. because after her husband was murdered by Slewfoot's children, the forest spirits, she had to fend for herself as a widow. And so she had to grow crops and everything, and it was failing, and she was starving.
And she also has, like, Edward's brother hanging over her, threatening to take the farm and sure that he's going to take it. And
Yep.
yeah.
So as a woman who's lesser than men, who is a widow, who's trying to defend her property that is rightfully theirs because they paid most of the loan to the brother. The brother is angry that she is a woman with, like,
Power.
Yeah, she's put in a position of power. And so there's a lot of sabotage trying to happen, right? While she's trying to pay her last debt in corn.
Right.
And so eventually Slewfoot shows up, and through song magic, they grow corn.
Earth magic.
But she had to hum.
True.
Yeah.
But it was her connection with the earth.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. It was her connection to her ancestors. Yeah. Like her mother was a cunning woman. Her mother's mother was a cunning woman.
Right.
So she drew power from their hair.
That's a really funny way to put it.
Yeah, I think that the magic in this book was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
She was already close in spirit to Mother Earth, where magic was coming from. Mm-hmm. But she really drew her power from her ancestors, from the hair that she kept in her apron, or blouse, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'm not up to speed with
Puritan garment names.
Yeah,
me neither.
There's a lot of them. They really got dressed. They had to cover up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. You know, the Slewfoot, which eventually his name comes out to be Sam, which is the name of the dead goat. Mm-hmm. Samson. Samson teaches her connection with Mother Earth and how to draw power and everything. And the little spirits are angry about it because they want to murder her. And they try a couple of times. So everyone is trying to kill her.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. Yeah. Which is cool.
Mm-hmm. What was your least favorite part of this book?
Ooh. My least favorite part of this book, I would have to say, would be the disappointment of not exploring the infinite universe of the spirit realm. Because they travel to the spirit realm a couple times. Yeah. But the author really only describes it in short details. Mm-hmm. A giant mammoth, right? Or a boar that's too big and made of skeletons, right? And I really thought that was an opportunity to get into the Spirited Away feeling of all these different spirits are there still. They somehow transverse time. Never explained it, right? Yeah. So I think my least favorite part was that the universe was set up really well, but the book felt too short. I really feel like this could have been a trilogy. The first book being Get Angry at Puritan Society. The second part being Discovery of Power. And the third book being Vindication. Yeah. Because there's so much to unpack in this book over a short number of pages that at some point it just felt like you're being rushed. For example, over the span of 3 pages, she was taught magic, grew corn, grew an entire field of corn, and learned how to speak bee. You're like, great, I want my mother's hair in my pocket.
Right.
Right?
And her mother's and her mother's mothers.
Yeah,
and
12
mother's
mothers.
Yeah.
It was 12 mothers,
it's
one to
represent
represent each month, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, what was my least favorite? When they killed the cat. I was so mad when they killed the cat. Yeah. I just couldn't handle that. I knew it was coming. And I knew that it was going to be revenge horror because at the beginning, like I already knew how it was going to end because at the beginning it was mentioned on this day on October 4th of 1666 or whatever, like it was clear in the beginning. I can't even remember the language. Do you remember reading that?
I don't remember reading that at all. Was that in the epilogue?
It was not in the epilogue.
If you hear paper, I have the book.
Here, yeah, give me this.
Okay.
I'll find it.
You find it.
Okay. It was really very close to the beginning. Oh, yeah, here. There's a little quote, and it says, "Tread wary foot amongst these sacred stones, for here on October 5th, 1666, the devil Slewfoot did take the lives of 112 good folks of Sutton Village. May God save their immortal souls." And then it says that this is a marker mounted upon the ruined stonework of the old Sutton meeting house.
Oh, I thought they got out of the meeting house.
A lot of them didn't.
Interesting.
They trapped them in there.
Because they went in there to kill... We're skipping over lots of story. This is us now just talking about the book, because we haven't talked about it yet. But, okay, interesting. I read that a different way.
Oh, how did you read it?
I read that as a time before current time.
That's how I first read it, but then I found out somewhere in the book, I remember reading that we were in October of 1666, and I was like, oh, okay, these people are going to die.
You know what the fastest thing that I forget is?
Time.
Dates. Yep.
Yeah.
Immediately. In one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did not like that the townspeople killed killed the cat.
Buka.
Buka. That made me infuriated.
Well, I mean, it was her familiar.
Right.
She resurrected it from the dead.
Oh my gosh.
I saw that cat die.
That was amazing to me. I think that was a really, really good thing that the author did was, and this is probably what I was going to say earlier, when she is, what's the word? Not convicted, accused. Mm-hmm. When she is accused of being a witch, and then all of a sudden all these people who she's helped are afraid of also being called a witch or consorting with a witch or whatever. They're like, oh, it burns, and they're like pulling the jewelry off or pulling, this burns me, it burns me. And I thought that the author did a very, very good job of painting that picture of what witch hunts actually were like that.
It was fear.
It was total fear.
Total fear.
And just the crowd, the way that it just escalated so quickly from just a tiny little accusation was incredible and terrible.
Which, by the way, Edward, her husband's brother who wanted her property, made against her in an effort to get the property back.
Wallace.
Edward's
the husband that died.
Edward is the husband that died.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, Wallace made, who's evil. Mm-hmm. Definitely an evil son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came onto her property and tried to...
Broke her leg.
Yep.
And then accused her of being a witch.
I mean, after she did use a spell, too.
No, they were on pursuit of her already because
That's
she
true.
was successful.
Right. I mean, the whole pursuit from the beginning was ridiculous because...
Yeah.
It was like, oh...
Why would God allow a woman to be successful?
Right. It must be the devil's work. She must be
a witch.
Yeah. It's just horrible.
I mean, in this case, it's true.
Yeah. That was the funny part. But do you know, did Sarah survive?
Who's Sarah?
Sarah was the woman, she was the Reverend's wife.
Oh, she went crazy. She survived.
Did she survive?
Yeah. So in the scene where, by the way, there's this scene where it's full vindication.
Lots of vindication.
The horned devil Samson is walking through the town, just murder, and so is Abatha. She's got goat hooves now, and she's got a knife, and she's just whipping, cutting people up, right?
Yep.
Totally cool. Everything's on fire. And then, she's saying some really cool stuff like, you shouldn't have been a liar because you're the one that condemned this town to Satan, which I thought was just like a really cool line for her to say because they did all lie.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't, she would have peacefully lived her life on that farm. Mm-hmm. Right? But anyway, so when she was pursuing her original accusers, and she caught up with them, and she had the fat judge cut his tongue out.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah was in the back of the wagon, and she just started cackling.
Yeah.
And said, wow, you really are a witch. Like, I can't believe that you're really a witch,
Yeah.
This is awful.
Damn you.
Yeah, I was tricked by Satan.
Right.
Right?
But then did Abatha kill her?
No.
Or did she let her live?
She walked away.
Okay.
She let her live. Just like the Reverend.
Okay.
Because the Reverend helped save her life.
Right.
And then went kind of cuckoo as well and walked away to go find his wife because he just helped Satan in his eyes. Right.
I actually really enjoyed this book.
I did too. I really enjoyed this book as a quick read,
Yeah.
immediate satisfactory sort of book. I feel like Brom could have really played with the emotions for 2 more books here.
I loved the concept of the different kinds of spirits. Like there's the forest spirits or the wild folk or whatever, like the little, there's forest and
River.
creek and
Air.
yeah, what was the air? Sky?
Nailed it. Yeah, sky, creek, and forest.
Okay. And I love the, it was clear from the beginning that they were just trying to keep the forest away from all the people.
Right.
Right. So that was pretty clear. And I liked how Brom delved into that further later in the book when we're learning about who those spirits are and potentially, quote unquote, like misleading Samson to be a total, like, all killer beast to kill all the people. And Samson didn't really want to be that, and then he goes and visits this other god. Basically, it was like on the other extreme. It seems like the shaman, yeah, who is giving him the other pieces of the puzzle.
Right.
And then he gets to decide what kind of god he is going to be.
Sort of.
I mean, it's kind of predetermined, but he gets to accept it.
Yeah. What was that? The shaman's name was like Moody Zafa or something.
Oh gosh, it was
Mustafa.
I knew I was going to forget it. Munana Pego.
Sure.
Something.
Yep. So Munana Pego, the shaman.
Should we grab the name or just?
Nah, Munaga Pego, the shaman. He traps Samson in Samson's pursuit of discovery for who Samson actually is, getting his memories back from the first time that he was killed or put to sleep because he's immortal.
Right.
So he didn't really have a choice in who he wanted to be. He knew something was missing. Then he got trapped, accepted defeat, and then the wild folk, forest specifically, went to go save him. And then he had all of his memories and all of his power.
Right.
And then came back to the town when Abatha was being killed because she's a witch, hung upside down.
Oh, it was so brutal.
Yeah. And then he started just killing everybody.
Yeah.
Which was great.
Yeah, and there was an opportunity for her to choose, did she want the revenge?
That was a false choice.
Was it?
Yeah. That was absolutely a false choice. You've been condemned as a witch to die. A devil shows up and saves you. Mm-hmm. Are you going to accept your wounds and hobble off with a broken leg to somewhere you don't know about to live the rest of your days?
Yeah, that's an option.
It's not an option. As soon as the devil leaves, those church guys are going to pursue her and kill her. So it was either death or life. That was the two. So either death as a condemned witch or life as
a free witch.
As a free witch. So it's a bit of a false choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. What was your favorite part?
The bees.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that was my favorite part, but I really, really liked the scene with the bees and like putting your hands into the earth and being able to communicate with these bees that, you're in danger and basically you need help. Or that like she gave them the energy to create all these honeycombs really, really quickly. And I really like that part because I like bugs. So
That was super cool.
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was that they named the big tree Paw Paw, which is my dog's nicknames for me.
Do they call you Papa?
Yeah, my dogs call me Paw Paw, like P-A-W-P-A-W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cute.
And I was like, oh, wow, this tree and I share a name. I don't know how Brom knew, but that's cool.
Connection. Yeah.
And the art in the center.
The art was amazing. Yeah, I really liked the art in the center.
Yeah, if you pursue this book, dear audience, to read it, at least pursue the art. Because the book itself is good. It's definitely something that I would give to children to read.
Whoa. What age would you give children to read? Well, what do you mean when you say
when do children start reading chapter books? Well, at an age then. I don't think that there's anything in this book that is age inappropriate for someone learning to read chapter books.
Don't you think it might give them nightmares?
No. She learns magic and learns how to fly, and yeah, there's some murder, but in the end she becomes a peaceful witch that only eats hunters in the 70s. Which was the end of the book.
Yeah, that was the end of the book.
2 drunk hunters walk into a forest. They don't walk
come out.
Yeah, because she and Samson eats them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what age I would recommend this book. Only because of the ability to give children nightmares. I think it was good for understanding Puritan society. I think that was a really good part of the book to learn. Like, valuable.
But you and I read some really wicked stuff as kids.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember, I think I was 6th grade that I started reading horror books.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
I still can't read Stephen King.
And Dean Koontz. I picked out a Stephen King book for one of our future episodes.
I won't read it.
That's fine.
I can't.
It looks like a fairy tale, though.
It's too good.
Doesn't quite. It's too good.
It's too good. Like, the way that he writes and everything is just... It's like hits that brain chemical that makes me imagine it, and then that's real horror. And
that's what happens with children when they read.
Yeah, but this is not a Stephen King horror. This is a children's horror. This is, I mean, really,
it's not children's horror.
It's only horror for Puritans.
Hey, audience, let us know.
Hey, Puritan audience, when you read this book between church on Thursday and Sunday, please let us know if it was scary to you. That's when they went to church, by the way. It was Thursdays and Sundays.
Thursdays and Sundays, yep.
Which she was granted clemency for because of hardship.
Yeah. Anything else about this book?
No, I think it was a good book for, and I mean, good, hesitate good, not like good, but good book, right?
Enjoyable.
It was enjoyable. Yeah, it was a nice, easy read.
All right. I don't know if I have anything else about this book. I was mad about the cat, and I liked the revenge horror aspect of it, and I generally liked the description of Slewfoot, and I liked all of it. So
I think we can end on 2 key takeaways.
Okay.
You didn't like that Buka the cat died, and I really liked that the tree had the same nickname as me.
Perfect.
All right.
That's the way to end
That's
it.
everything you need to know about Slewfoot.
So what are we talking about next episode? Quietly Hostile.
Okay.
By Samantha Irby.
Sweet. I look forward to it. I did not read this book.
Nope.
So I have no idea what it's about.
Perfect. We'll talk about it.
Okay. Thanks so much for listening. Like, subscribe, buy our money, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Give us a rating.
5 stars or bust. If it's less than 5 stars, I don't want to hear about it.
Okay, bye.
Bye.